Early this morning, one of the most critical and sensitive geopolitical moments in Latin America unfolded. U.S. President Donald Trump confirmed a large-scale strike was carried out in Venezuela. President Nicolás Maduro was captured, and he was flown out of the country. This is not just a headline. This is a political signal that may reshape the balance of power in the region. Today, we are not reacting emotionally to this event. We are examining it through a cold, analytical lens. First, the facts, then the motives, and finally, the possible consequences. Location: Caracas, Venezuela. Time: early Saturday morning, 2 a.m. local time. At that exact time, low-flying military helicopters appeared over the capital, and at least 7 explosions were heard across several districts of the city. The aircraft observed belonged to the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment, Night Stalkers. This unit is used only in high-risk, highly classified, precision-targeted operations, which means this was not a demonstration. This was a planned entry operation. A few hours later, U.S. President Donald Trump issued an official statement on Truth Social. He announced, "The operation was successfully conducted. Maduro and his wife were captured. They were flown out of the country, and a press briefing would follow." He also emphasized, the operation was carried out in coordination with U.S. military and federal law enforcement agencies. That detail matters. This is not only a military action. This is a political operation connected to a legal process. The Venezuelan government, however, framed the event in a completely different way. In their official statement, they described it as a serious act of military aggression, imperialist pressure, and an attempt to seize strategic national resources. Regions named as affected: Caracas, Miranda, Aragua, La Guaira. They presented the event as a violation of national sovereignty and an attempt to force regime change. And they concluded with one message: we will not surrender. This raises a fundamental question. Does this strengthen political resistance? Or does it push parts of the system out of the power structure? At the same time, another decisive step was taken. The U.S. Federal Aviation Administration issued a NOTAM at 1 a.m. EST. From that moment, all U.S. aircraft were prohibited from operating in Venezuelan airspace at any altitude. What does this mean? The official risk level has been raised to its highest tier. In addition, U.S. citizens were advised not to travel to Venezuela, and those already inside were told to shelter in place. This is not just a tactical strike. This is a major shift in the security posture. Now we arrive at the central question. Is this a one-time military strike, or the beginning of a deeper political restructuring process? The evidence suggests this is not a destruction-based operation. This is a central leadership isolation operation. Key indicators: low-altitude night entry, coordinated breaching points, special operations aviation. Operations of this type are designed to remove the central figure without triggering full-scale social destabilization. In any regime transition, the greatest risk is always the same: who takes control of the power center? Critical questions emerge. Do armed structures consolidate or fragment into rival groups? Do new internal actors step into the vacuum? This is not only a domestic political issue. This is a regional security issue. This event is not only about 2 states. Around this conflict space, Russia, Cuba, China, each hold strategic interests, which means this event is read not only as a Venezuelan political incident, but as a broader geopolitical signal. So now the real question takes shape. Does this tactic produce short-term stability or trigger a prolonged cycle of political power struggle? We will not treat this as a temporary news event, but as an evolving strategic process. This story is not over. The process is only beginning. We will continue tracking the next stages, political reactions, and the regional consequences that follow. If you want to follow developments like this through deep geopolitical analysis, stay with the channel and subscribe.